Hello, everybody. Welcome to Balancing Act, the podcast where we explore the intersection of corporate strategies and sustainability. I'm your host, Esteban, and today we're discussing whether sustainability is an essential element of risk management or just another corporate trend. To help us navigate this debate, we have two experts. Andres, a firm advocate of sustainability as a risk management tool, which is with us from Vienna, and Salomon, who approaches this with a skeptical lens and is with us from Rome, Italy. How are you guys?
Hi, how are you? Happy to be here.
Hello, how are you? Happy to be here too.
So, Andres, let's start with you. How does integrating sustainability into corporate strategies serve as a form of risk management?
Well, that's a great question, Esteban. Sustainability and risk management are deeply connected. Companies face increasingly risk from climate change, regulatory shifts, and reputational damage if they fail to act responsibly. By embedding sustainability into their core operation, businesses can mitigate these risks before they become crises. For example, Unilever has integrated sustainability into its risk management approach by linking executive bonuses to environmental, social, and governance ESGs performance. They have reduced water and energy consumption across their supply chain, which not only lowers operational costs but also minimizes exposure to regulatory finance and resources shortages.
Very interesting. So, based on what you're saying of Unilever, you're suggesting that sustainability isn't just ethical, but also a smart business move to mitigate future risks in companies.
Yes, exactly. A study by McKinsey and Company in 2022 found that companies with strong ESG strategies experiences lower capital costs and greater resilience during economic downturns. When sustainability is embedded into corporate decision making, businesses can anticipate future regulatory changes, such as carbon taxes, and adapt accordingly.
Interesting how adapting is a great way to put it when talking about these corporations. Salomon, you've heard Andres' perspective and you remain skeptical about corporate sustainability as a risk management strategy. Why so?
Well, the theory sounds great, but the reality is much messier. Many companies use sustainability as a public relation tool rather than serious commitments. The term greenwashing has become increasingly common because corporations claim to be sustainable while continuing harmful in practice. Take the case of Volkswagen emission scandal. The company marketed its diesel cars as a clean, while deliberately manipulation emissions test. This highlights the issue of false sustainability claims that ultimate damage corporate reputation rather than mitigating the risk.
That's very interesting what you're mentioning about greenwashing and more when talking about reputation and mitigating risks. So you're saying that sustainability efforts are more about branding than actually the real impact that the company has in its surroundings?
In many cases, yes. Even the industries that push sustainability inhabilitates, there is often a lack of accountability. Research by Harvard Business Review in 2023 found that over the 60% of corporate sustainability reports continue baggage commitment rather than measuring the outcomes. Without restricting reports standard and enforcement mechanism. Sustainability risk becoming the marketing tool rather than the risk mitigatory strategy.
I had never seen it in that lens of you're saying that it's a marketing tool and it's very interesting. Now let's bring in some real world examples to the ground to our discussion. Andres, can you give us some?
Well, certainly, Esteban. Consider Patagonia, a company that has built its entire brand around environmental responsibility. They voluntarily pay self-imposed earth tax by donating 1% of sales to environmental organizations that have built supply chain transparency into their business model. This commitment has strengthened consumers' trust, and brand loyalty, reducing reputational risk.
That's very interesting, and more with a company like Patagonia that you see it and you know it's for a good cause. Salomon, do you see any cases where sustainability efforts backfire to the company?
Absolutely. Look at the fast fashion industry. Chain, for instance, has faced multiple accusations of unethical labor practices despite realizing sustainability reports. The company reactive approach, only addressing issues after the public exposure, demonstrate how sustainability efforts can be superficial and do little to mitigate long-term risk.
So, Andres, based on what Salomon is saying, that companies like Shane do little to no work in order to mitigate long-term risks, how do you respond to these criticisms?
Well, so it underscores the importance of accountability. Companies must ensure sustainability efforts are backed by third-party audits and standardized ESG metrics. The Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, TCFD, provide a framework that companies like BlackRock and Nestlé have adopted by transparency report sustainability risk.
Given these perspectives that you're mentioning, what steps can companies take in order to ensure the sustainability functions as an effective management tools to the short and long term?
Well, so companies need to integrate sustainability into corporate governance. This means linking executive companies to ESG performance, adapting third-party verification for sustainability reports, and embedding climate risk into financial decision-making. Companies like Microsoft have already committed to being carbon negative by 2030 and have invested in carbon removal technologies as part of the long-term risk management strategy.
Agree on the needs for clear metrics. Additionally, governments and regulatory bodies must enforce strategic accountability without the legal consequence for misleading sustainability claims. Companies will continue greenwashing. The European Union Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive is in a step to the right decision, requiring companies to provide transparency, auditable data, ESG data.
So, based on what you're both saying, I think we can conclude, and it seems that while corporate sustainability has a potential to serve as a robust risk management tool, its effectiveness depends on genuine commitment, transparency, accountability, and others. Companies must start moving beyond superficial efforts and embedded sustainable practices into their very DNA to navigate the complexities of today's business landscape successfully and do what you guys are mentioning with assertiveness and effectiveness. Andres, Salomon, I want to thank you for not only sharing your insights, but being today here. As we know where you guys are, it's already the night. So I want to thank you and thank all the listeners for tuning into Balancing Act. Join us next time as we continue to explore the evolving intersections of business strategy and sustainability worldwide. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you too.